Well, we have got a very clear picture now of WrestleMania this year because Brock Lesnar lost his WWE Championship against Bobby Lashley in a really good match that had a slightly wonky finish. We'll get to that in a bit. But then won the Men's Royal Rumble from the number 30 spot, which had been heavily reported, heavily speculated. So it looks like, we're getting Brock versus Roman for the for the Blue Universal Championship at WrestleMania. Roman actually cost Brock his WWE Championship match. So we'll come on to that in just a second, because on the other side of things, the women's picture, slightly less clear in one sense, but it looks like, as Dave Meltzer had reported earlier in the day, the plan for WrestleMania 38 is Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, who made her return at this year's Royal Rumble to win the Royal Rumble, eliminating Charlotte Flair in the final two. Let's start with the women's match first. It was a really fun Rumble, like a really fun match. It had a lot of fun, a lot of surprises, a lot of cameos. I think Melina was given a bit of a short shrift. I think she could have probably done a little bit more. She was eliminated very early. Weird to see Sasha Banks come back and be eliminated quite so early on as well. For me, though, the biggest surprise was Bianca Belair. All of the Raws building up to the Rumble were putting over Bianca Belair. The story they've been telling since SummerSlam is leading us towards Belair and Lynch. Lynch is ducking the challenges. She cheated at Crown Jewel. And then she did the match with Liv and with Doudrop. It felt like we were going to be getting Belair winning the Rumble, and so Becky could no longer duck that challenge, and that's the match she would then have to do at Mania. But Belair did a lot of nothing in the Rumble. She eliminated one person. That was Bianca Belair's whole shtick within the Rumble. She was in there for ages, but did nothing. Massive surprise to me personally, and I think likely they are probably still going to do Belair Lynch, but that is not a great way to kick off that story or even continue that story. Ronda Rousey wasn't number 30, that was Shayna Baszler. She was like number 28 or so. And she looked awesome. Like, I can take all my negatives out about Bianca Belair. Ronda Rousey looked so great coming into this. She looked like a badass. She looked in amazing shape. Her punches were wicked. She came in and just did some incredible stuff. And her and Baszler like almost teamed together for a bit, which was a lot of fun. And because she's going on to feud with Charlotte Flair, Baszler on SmackDown, there's some stuff you can do around that, which I think could actually be some really good stuff. But Ronda was the biggest surprise of this year's Rumble, and it was a lot of fun seeing her in the match as well. Her and Flair being the final two, I think, was a surprise to some, but not to many. I had said in my predictions that I thought they were going to like eliminate each other, or Ronda was going to eliminate Flair, and then Flair would eliminate her, or something along those lines, and then Belair would win. But no, like, it came down to Flair and Ronda eliminated her quickly. So yeah, Ronda versus Flair, very much the program. Brock versus Roman, very much the plan. That's very much the SmackDown side of things. Then you got Raw, and Bobby Lashley is your new WWE champion. He won the belt over Brock Lesnar in a very fun match. Really good. I don't think it built upon the story they were telling on Raw, which is that Brock was underestimating Bobby. Like, I don't think that factored into the match much at all, but I don't really mind so much because the match was so much fun. And there were some really awesome German suplexes and no selling of those suplexes and selling of those suplexes. It was so good. But the key to it is, at the final finale, we got some ref bumps, and then Roman Reigns speared Brock Lesnar, and Paul Heyman handed the belt to Roman Reigns, the WWE Championship. He handed it to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns hit Brock, and that gave Bobby the win. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman are back together again. A very short run for Heyman and Brock as babyface team, but now Heyman and Roman back together again, which I think a few people had sort of speculated on. I know Tempest was talking about it on the WrestleTalk podcast for SmackDown. So yeah, Bobby is your new WWE champion. As for challengers though, he's a bit thin on the ground because in the men's rumble, this was not a good men's rumble. The women's one was so much fun. You had the cameos, you had the surprises. The Mickie James thing ended up being very little. She did have the Impact Knockout Championship, but was credited as the Impact Women's Championship, which just shows how little WWE actually cared about the Impact partnership. But it didn't really lead to a whole lot of anything. For me, actually, the most fun thing in the Rumble was Ivory coming out in her Right to Censor gear. That was tremendous fun. That was really, really good. But in the men's Rumble, the first, when we were doing our live reactions, we got to number 20 and were shocked we were at number 20 because nothing had happened. Johnny Knoxville had made his run in and he did some fun stuff, but that was it. And that was 2/3 of the Rumble and nothing had happened. It kind of picked up a little bit in the last 10 and we did get a few surprises, Brock being one of them, Bad Bunny being another, Shane McMahon being one of them, and Drew McIntyre was actually one of the surprises as well. No one saw Drew McIntyre coming. He was reportedly out with an injury. He ended up being in the final 2. But overall, it was a really bad men's Rumble. Sati Niangi said on our live reactions, quite brilliant, quite poetically so, the reason why is because there's been no storylines going into this year's Rumble. From the men's side of things, no real storylines, no real characters or anything like that. You have characters. You had Damian Priest, Big E, Kevin Owens, but AJ Styles, but most of them were just eliminated. And, Big E, poor old Beige, just moved to SmackDown, teaming with Kofi. I didn't think they would mid-card him so quickly, but he did a whole lot of nothing in this Rumble. Some people thought he might win it. He came with an ass's roar of winning that Rumble. Just eliminated quickly. I mean, actually, quickly is not the right word, but it felt quickly because he had done nothing between going in and being thrown out. Feel really bad for him. Really, really bad for him. AJ Styles was eliminated like it was nothing. He was eliminated by Madcap Moss, of all people. It was a frustrating Rumble, and it leads to no one to challenge Bobby. Because Seth lost in the Roman Reigns match. Oh, we'll get to that in a second. So Seth lost there. And Kevin Owens didn't get a massive shine in the Rumble. He was in there for a while, but he didn't get many massive spots or anything. So he doesn't feel like he's a challenger. And that has been Raw's problem. We said on the Raw podcast leading into this, it felt like a mid-card Rumble based on the go-home angle for it, which was Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, Ray, Dominic Mysterio, and the Street Profits. That feels like a very mid-card thing, and in the end, that's what the Rumble felt like, a mid-card affair with no star power. And even with the shock surprises in the last few, like Shane McMahon and Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny was fun, but it doesn't really lead to a whole deal. Shane McMahon was in this Rumble, and you'd have thought there's a massive layup there for him to have something with Austin Theory. No. What did Shane actually do in the Rumble? Nothing. Shane didn't set up any storylines for WrestleMania. Bad Bunny didn't set up any storylines for WrestleMania. Drew didn't set up any storylines for WrestleMania. Neither did Owens or anything like that. And that is a misstep for the Rumble, in my personal opinion. So I thought it was a very, very bad men's Rumble. But Brock winning was, Brock winning is cool. Because Brock coming in at number 30, decimating everyone. He has got that superstar aura. So Brock Lesnar won. So that was your 2 Rumble matches. Now it was also your Blue Universal Championship match with, your WWE Championship match. The Blue Universal title opened the show. Roman Reigns opening the show, which feels very weird to say. And he and Seth Rollins had a fantastic match. This match was awesome. Loved every single second of this match, except for the finish. Seth Rollins came out in his Shield gear and with the Shield music and did the Shield entrance, which played off so beautifully from the Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins promo that they had on SmackDown. Loved that. That was absolutely terrific. And then these two had some insanely cool near falls. Just we were on the edge of our seat watching this in the live reaction. So many times just popping left, right, and center. It was a phenomenal match that had a duff finish. When Roman Reigns had locked in the guillotine, Seth powered him up, put him down, powered him up, put him down, getting close to the ropes. And he faded right next to the ropes. And I think the spot that was supposed to come next... Sorry, I've left myself off center there. I think the spot that was supposed to come next is that Charles Robinson, the referee, would lift up Seth Rollins' hand and drop it. He would then react and grab the rope. What it looked like, though, was that Charles Robinson put Seth Rollins' hand on the ropes and then said to Roman Reigns, well, you've got to now break the hold. Roman refused to break the hold and got DQ'd. It's how they opened the show. A bad way, and it took the wind out of everyone's sails. Thank God that the Women's Rumble was so good that it picked everything back up, but man, that was really, really bad. Didn't make Seth look great, didn't make Roman look great. Roman beat him up afterwards with a chair, which very much felt like it ended the feud. He even did the same Shield breakup spot, and it felt like he was putting that behind him, like a cathartic release. So I don't know what's next. Like, does Seth just go back into a feud with Bobby over a different coloured belt? I don't think this was the right move for Seth. I don't think it was the right move for Roman. I think Seth losing actually he'd have lost nothing in it. He powered out the guillotine on 3 occasions. Like, that would have done more for him than anyone else could have done. But that was what happened. Not great. We then had the Women's Rumble. As I said, absolutely loved. Ivory, right to censor. One of the all-time great Rumbles, not just men's or women's, all-time great Rumbles. Becky, Lynch, and Doudrop had a struggle in that they were coming after the Women's Rumble, which everyone was really into, particularly with the return of Ronda Rousey. But also in the pyro going off, as Ronda Rousey did her point to the WrestleMania sign, the WrestleMania sign caught fire. Very dangerous, very scary, and in fact, the section that the sign was in were evacuated. There's pictures and videos of it going around online. And that really took the crowd out of this, because the crowd were looking, you could see the crowd just watching something else. Also, no one thought that Doudrop was ever going to win, so that didn't help matters. They gave it time, and man, Becky Lynch did everything she could to make you, the audience, believe that Doudrop might beat her. Sadly, no one actually did. And it's a shame, because it was a really, really, really good match. And when you think about it, it's like, among there for the best matches of the evening, probably my second favourite match of the night, and at least had a clean finish. Did I have a clean finish? I actually don't remember how the match ended. Oh, I do. Becky won it with a second rope manhandle slam. Really, really cool. Actually, Viper was awesome in this match. She looked wicked. She did some amazing sentons, looked really good in her power moves, and a credit to Becky Lynch for making her look amazing as well. And our last match that Becky retained, obviously, and again, I guess it's Bianca Belair for Mania, but man, you did very little of Bianca to set her up for that, other than she was in there for ages, but in there for ages and did nothing. So I guess it's Bianca, but who knows? It certainly isn't Ronda Rousey. I know a lot of people want it to be Ronda, but I think that's very much the Charlotte direction. Which leaves our final match was Team It versus Team Grit. Really fun. It's exactly the match you expected it to be, and that's a good thing. Miz and Maryse in particular was awesome in this match. They did their parts. Beth and Edge did their parts. It was given time. It struggled because it followed Bobby and Brock, so I think the crowd took a little bit to get into it. By the end of it, they were massively into this, though. Credit to all 4 of them. They really pulled out the bag. Team Grit won. For me, I've been quite down on this, if only because I've already seen Team Grit won. They won at day 1. This feud would have been so much more interesting if The Miz had won at day 1. As it stands, Team Grit won at day 1, and then are feuding with Team It for no reason. So that for me kind of took me out of it, and yeah, Team Grit won with a dual Glamazon Slam, or Glam Slam, whatever it was called. It was fun. It was what it was, and what it was pretty great. So that was Royal Rumble, because then we had the Men's Rumble to finish off. Hard to score this. I don't really know quite where I sit on it. I think reactionary, people are going to be very negative on this show because of the Men's Rumble. I think actually when you look at the show in each of its elements, it was better than people may give it credit for. Because Roman versus Seth was really good. Bobby versus Brock was really good. The Women's Rumble was really good. Becky versus Doudrop was really good. Team It versus Team Grit was very good. But that Men's Rumble was very bad. And I think that very bad is going to taint the rest of the good stuff. And actually, even in that good stuff, Roman and Seth had a bad finish. Brock and Bobby had some ref bumpage. The crowd went into Becky Doudrop. They also they went into the start of Team Grit, Team It. So, yeah, hard to score this one. I don't quite know where I stand. It's very... What time is it? Oh, I'm on my phone, aren't I? So I don't even... It's 5:20 in the morning. I'm very tired. I don't know. I'm going to go get some sleep and think about it before we review it on the WrestleTalk podcast tomorrow. Why don't you let me know of what you thought in the comments down below? I also lost the Jam That Championship to Chopper Pete Quinnell, quite convincingly so, in a 4-2 loss. Very, very sad. I blame the Seth Rollins-Roman Reigns match because that ended in a stupid DQ finish. And Roman should have just won. But yeah, that was Royal Rumble 2002. That was Royal Rumble 2022. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel. Ollie Davis will be back with a full edited review of this show in a few hours' time, and we'll be on the WrestleTalk podcast channel giving our thoughts on the show as well. So please do join us over there. But until then, I have been Luke Owen, DAD. Jam that jam.